What's up, good people, and welcome back for another recap review show here at Big O Belt Media, where Lucas and I are here to talk about episode 5 of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. Oh man, looks like y'all had a good old time last week. So did we. First off, starting off by again making sure you all check out our interview with Patton Ashbrook, who you know is Jenny Sullivan, who I had a fantastic time talking to her. And I do apologize about how we edited the show last week. We were supposed to get that footage a little bit earlier than I received it, and you all were like, "Where's the recap?" I was like, "Okay, I dropped the recap." I wanted to kind of put it together, but whatever. But obviously a fantastic talk, learning more about Jenny, what we can expect about Jenny, the troubles that I didn't know was going to happen this episode with her and Saxe, and so much more to come. And obviously, you know, we're going to keep pushing out the content. So now I'm going to be a little bit cautious about when I promise you things, because I may not know when I get it. So therefore, there may be some additional stuff this week. You just going to have to wait and see. Will not be a part of this. So just keep your eyes out on the channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And we got a lot of Power Book 2 Ghost content coming your way. But yeah, on this episode 5, No More Second Chances, we see the most, as I put very vividly in my notes, the very stars-ish form of Star Kids and Mission Impossible Jr. all put together. Because I don't know what I watched this episode. This is the most un-ghost or power episode I have ever seen. Tariq did a deal with a dangerous group of folks. Him and Effie had never done this ever.
Keep going.
And trusted two folks who had already wanted to kill him.
And saved them.
I didn't know what I was watching for, Mel, but I was like,
and then magically it leads to more business, which makes no sense. Oh my goodness! Yeah. This was Mission Impossible 4 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
This was Power Ghost Protocol.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Power Ghost Protocol. God, you're good. You're You're too good at this. But nonetheless, no, we're gonna have a fun time with this episode tonight. Written by Lacey Herbert, directed by Rob Hardy. And although we joke and talk about the things that don't make sense and the to-be jokes and whatnot, y'all know we love this show, and we're going to break it down as we always do. So much to talk about in this episode. So as always, folks, we encourage you, get in the comments, let us know your thoughts, let us know your reactions, let us know the things we got wrong, let us know what you enjoyed. We love it all. Y'all have been nothing but wonderful to us. And I do need to explain one thing. I ain't gonna go on a rant on this, but I did say last week that this is our flagship show, and somebody was like, that seems like that devalues everything else you do, and that's not at all true. But this, as I said in the comment, I'm just gonna say here, is like, me and Lucas been friends for a while. We've always done movie reviews, we've done other little small podcasts and whatnot. But this, I think, was the show that got us in groove. We knew we had something special. This was the show that kept us up at 1 o'clock in the morning, doing recaps for you all, not getting no sleep. I'm talking about, listen, the show comes on at 12 to 1, 1 to 2, editing, hello now, and like, we was just that dedicated for it. So it's just to say, like, when we say flagship, it's special to us.
It doesn't devalue anything else that we do, but this was the show, like, I mean, that started it all really for us here.
Yeah.
When we got into understanding, like, hey, we need to do a recap that sounds like two people having a conversation while breaking it down. We came up with the format for every other show off of Power. So yeah, it becomes a flagship. But just because you have a flagship show does not mean the other of your shows are not important.
Yeah.
We love We Own the City. I don't know why that was the first one that popped into my head.
I mean,
BMF, Snowfall, Your Honor,
Godfather,
even stuff where
Harlem.
it's not even us together and it branches off. All of that is a branch off of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be the flagship, but trust and believe, we love every single. We don't cover shows we don't like.
Yeah,
it's a review that you all could check out that we were given, and we did one episode of that show, and we didn't do another one. So that just tells you part of our integrity is we do not cover shows we don't like. It is not fun breaking down something we don't like.
We try to listen, these recap and review shows, we try to keep the critic hat off as much as possible. When the critic hat on, you'll watch anything. But this, we try to be a little bit selective because it's pretty damn hard to give 2 to 3 hours of your day to something you're really not feeling.
We did Lovecraft Country, and we put 5 episodes. No. We did it for then I was forced to do it on my other channel. But me and you did it, and we did 5 episodes in one review.
I didn't even remember.
This show is not worth watching.
I didn't even remember. Jeez. Anywho, let's get into tonight's episode. We're starting off with absolutely
disrespectful, and
absolutely. I mean, listen, you can like the show or dislike the show. The network felt a certain type of way, so don't take our word for it. Your Honor said they had one season and they weren't going to do another one.
Kick right back to another one, amazingly. And sounds like they're going to kick back to a season 3 possibly.
There's definitely been some rumors going around. When you got something hot, you got to do something.
How many spinoffs you get of Power, and all of them are equally good to one another. Snowfall's getting a spinoff. Like, come on, man.
But we're starting off with no other than Jenny and Monet as, oh God, this is going to be the funniest part of this recap. Right off the break, we got Jenny getting information from Monet, asking about what happened with Whitman. And while we see that vantage point, we also see Saxe and Diana in the other room. I'm sorry. So we have Monet and Davis and Jenny, and then in the other room we have Diana, Saxe, and Blanca. So obviously Saxe is representing Diane. This was the play that Davis called last episode in terms of like, hey, we want to make sure everybody's everybody's story is rock tight or airtight, rock solid, and we're all on the same page, which Monet said wasn't going to be a problem. Yeah, it wasn't a problem. There is one problem though. Who the hell jurisdiction is this?
Hey, that is one of many problems here. First, yes, because Blanca is part of the DEA. So why would she be there for a dead New York City detective? Which, if any other FBI boys will pop up, it would be the FBI because he's a dead cop. I was highly confused. And then I was confused. Why is this questioning taking place at the Tejada house? We're supposed to take them to the precinct for these questions here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
why they're even like it?
But wait.
Towards Monet. Oh, go ahead.
No. But wait. No. But even if you didn't know anything you were talking about, what did Davis say last episode?
Yes.
I will meet you at the station. Don't say anything till I get there. Yes. I ain't trying to nitpick, but I was just suspecting those type of things. Those interrogation rooms are like very iconic moments in these type of genres. We want to see who gonna whistle and who not. Just like BMF when we got Kane out of the room, it was a moment that had to happen. Like they could easily say, "Oh, we got him." In the story, but like you had to make it a moment. So I'm thinking like, oh, I need to see Diana in the interrogation room. I want to see what she gonna ask
sweat her and what happens when they sweat her. You want to see that happen.
Yeah.
Here, Monet could literally hear everything Diana said. She was in the dining room. Diana was in the kitchen.
Clearly,
and the Tejadas live in a townhouse. They don't live in Ghost Penthouse. You can hear everything from room to room.
Clearly, Saxe and Davis was like giving eye code to one another and whatnot. So like. Yeah, I don't know, but hold up, that's what I want to say. And also down to the way Jenny was asking questions here. You could be suspicious as you want to. This is a man who broke into someone's house and they shot him. Ain't many questions to be asked there. It was a scene that I guess it needed to happen to establish the thoughts of this task force, but this is supposed to be a secret task force. I would almost say you revealed that you were a task force to them. Yeah.
Because if Davis is at all a good lawyer, you'd be like, wait a minute, why is a DEA here? And then why are you here? Like, you two have to be working together. It would make no other sense but for that reason for you to be here.
1,000%. And I also thought that Davis represents a side of consciousness, and I was thinking like he should be able to pick up on this. Like, there's some very uncharacteristic things happening here. As much as Blanca and Jenny looks at Monet and Davis and Tariq and like, oh, they're hanging out all together, as like that seems suspicious. You have to say a DEA agent, the district attorney, and like what? I'm confused about whose jurisdiction here, and also why is this happening in my damn house? Like I'm confused here. It's a crime scene, but yet like all of us is chilling.
No, his weird part. The DEA, the first letter tells you what they should be there for.
Drugs.
Where were the drugs involved in all here? That they would even need to be there.
Yeah, but I will say, like, you know, at the end of it, you know, we did get a little important tidbit, and we also learned a lot about Monet, which we could assume, especially by how we cover the show. But we did get a lot of important details in terms of like how Monet operates and how does she move.
Yeah.
But the last thing I will say really quickly, you know, jumping on this jurisdiction thing, is Saxe makes it very clear that whatever bit of ethical code he has in terms of being a lawyer does not exist. The conflict of interest here, and like I bring this up because we already know how sleazy Saxe can be. Again, one of my favorite characters. But do y'all recall at the end of this episode that he tried to throw in Jenny's face about how he's risking?
Oh God, yeah, it made no sense. It made no sense.
I love this. You know why? Because Saxe is in love and he's absolutely whipped. And so, you know, when you whip and you know when you're in love and you try to plead your case, you're going to say something that definitely ain't going to mean a goddamn thing. You're going to just throw out anything. And that's what him makes like, man, I'm doing all this stuff for you. Well, slightly.
All he was missing was his waiting to exhale line, which is "you raggedy bitch." That's all he was missing, Joe. Because what he was saying made no sense.
Gee, I could not stop laughing. Anyway, we jump right to the classroom scene pretty early here, where we have Tate coming in to help with the topic. And the topic clearly has been for all the other previous episodes, has to deal with the title, which in this is No More Second Chances. And thus in this, we do talk about second chances, and we're talking about really the split between how decisions and second chances work in America by perspective, by the racial climax, and just, you know, whatever your I don't want to say classification, but yeah, economic status. Thank you. Yep.
But we really gonna have to really focus on these moments are the best of the series, because they're so unique to this genre that you would have these kids on multiple episodes talk about the climate, not only of their country, but just of themselves and of the dynamic of the classroom. This was a hell of a conversation to have in a classroom.
Yeah.
And have them break down what it means to get a second chance. And even though we always hear America is the land of second chances, that ain't the case for anybody.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
With a value under a certain number, there is no such thing as a second chance.
And I honestly was like, and like, I know you all are looking for us to like put out more content with power, and this would literally be it. To say every episode, let's just talk about the classroom scene and extend that. But man, if we didn't have so much on our plate, maybe we can do something in retrospect and whatnot.
Go back and maybe go back on these and Colonical Studies podcast.
Yeah,
show, right?
Yeah, hit us up, stars. We got you.
We haven't like locked it in yet. Don't nobody steal that idea.
Yeah, you're right.
Trust y'all out there.
Yeah. Oh, don't go to your favorites and tell them to do it, because you know they won't.
Yeah. Next thing I know, Mark Dark has a podcast on Colonical Studies. Don't be mad as shit, Joe.
But a couple of important things is, I totally forgot about the important thing from the last scene. I forgot, totally jumping to conclusions real quick. So one, Jenny looked at Davis, and because she gave him that stank look because she's still kind of butthurt because of Davis burning her up in court last season.
Yeah.
But also too, Davis asked his Monet about the foul. She said, I got rid of it totally because it is a stolen police foul. She said, I don't want nothing to do with that. But then he asked about, the little bit about what was up with Lorenzo, and she says, nah, I was just jumping to conclusions. We're all good, which establishes sort of Monet's tactic. And as Lorenzo said, and as Lorenzo knows, that Monet's always a couple of steps ahead. And this was her doing exactly what she needed to do. The foul was too hot. She did not need to show her hand in terms of how she was going to play this out. Because if y'all thought for one moment at this very beginning of this episode that she was just saying, oh, nah, with all this I built up for these other episodes about who killed Zeke and finding out the truth, I'm good now. It's just jumping to conclusions. Nothing to worry about here. But yeah. But anyway, going back to the classroom scene, was Brushandria could not wait to jump on Tate's bandwagon. Obviously, that internship that she has her being.
My sister know. My sister understand. You understand the rules and regulations of having those internships, Joe. You better be the biggest cheerleader. She should have been in that joint like Young Miami with a Go Poppy sign up as Tate. Got up there in the classroom.
What did he used to call her again?
My shorty wop. My shorty wop.
If Tate would have said that, I would have cut the episode off. But to your point too, like I think when I was thinking about like how we could talk about this scene, to a shorter extent of how far how in depth we really could. Becca said exactly what I was getting ready to type, and she was just like, yeah, because they ain't all the same for all of us. Like, look at my brother. What happened to him in court, and now he's on Wall Street. I was like, because that would not have happened to none of us. And she was like, that's not going to happen to any of y'all. One thing I want to say is
bring that correlation between him and Tariq and how Tariq had to fight for a second chance, even though he was proven not guilty.
Absolutely. And Tariq's whole story has been nothing but fighting for second chances the entire time. He could, from school and shaking off the image of his dad, just everything. It's just always circled around him having the second and third chances. And I think that's very true to a lot of Black people, is that, you do one thing wrong. And listen, I'm not even going to get this. I'm not going to make this so deep, but there's certain folks that, has done things, served the time, gets injected back into society, and they might as well still be in jail. Because folks are never just going to let that go. No matter of you serving time. And not to mention, some of these folks were guilty before they were even legally guilty, or they were guilty and not guilty. So these are just like, when you talk about societal chances, it's just like you do one thing, you make a mistake, you're done. You're done. Cancel culture says, forget it. You're out of there,
The kids pointed it out. Being of color, you only get one chance. There's no such thing as a second one.
But I'm looking to see more from Becca. They introduced Becca to us in a very strong way in the beginning of the season. We knew about Becca the first season, and she's only been pretty much assisting in tidbits within the courtroom scene. Looks like her and Diana, who are roommates, by the way, have not really had anything outside of their little party drug moment. But like, I'm just waiting to see, what's more with Becca and how that comes into play. But I like how Becca is also reinforcing the privilege for Brayden, which the first few episodes was establishing the bias towards Brayden and Tariq and his privilege and whatnot. But anyway,
I think it's because Becca's the only one in that family who understands her privilege.
Absolutely.
No one else in that family does. I think she's the voice of reason for that family.
Yep, not Trace, not Lucas, none of them.
And it would be the smart daughter who would understand it.
Yeah.
Because the sons would grow up in an environment where they only see it, so they wouldn't see it any other way. As a woman, as a girl, even in her family, she's a second-class citizen just because she's a woman. So she would understand it more. So she can speak to it a little bit more. I think it's a brilliant idea to put that character in this class. Granted, we still question how did she get in this class, but it's a good idea that she's in this class and that she becomes at times the voice of the audience in this class.
Yeah, that's literally why I'm saying I would like a little bit more from this character.
Yeah.
While I do respect what they're doing, I would like a little bit more depth. And maybe she just becomes what some of these other characters have been for us, where we get introduced to them just for them to be, you know, kind of three-dimensionally written for the next season. I think Jenny was a character like, she had parts, but I kept saying I want more of this character because I know she has more depth than just being in court as a lawyer from a show that does not focus on court antics, you know, law. Yes. But anyway, Monet texts Tariq, says, I need to know international guap IG, not Instagram. I need to know where he was at the night of Zeke's murder. And you know, this again, the deflecting sort of removing this task from Davis's plate and Davis's awareness too. No reason to get no reason to open up another tab, because you know Davis could, but like no reason to open up another tab when you could just get your 1,000%. But why not just get your intern Tariq to get in?
So Monet and Lucas got interns, and both of them is Tariq.
But you know, she wants to see what's up with that. So Brashandra goes to talk to Professor Bennett, and then Tate and Tariq talking, and you know, he said, I may got some information for your Fed friend. He's telling them about international guap. And then he says, I don't know if we said this. No, we didn't say this because we had not had this impression. We talked a lot about this in season 2, but we kept saying, like, where was Zeke's draft status? It was hard to tell where he was at. And they gave him the highest praise and saying, well, he's this generation's Len Bias. And I'm like, oh, that you're saying, like, just in case y'all don't know, but y'all saying, like, this is the next Jordan. This is the.
We said that Zeke draft status, he wasn't like a lottery pick. He had to be like number 20. But they just basically said he's a top 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
This generation's Len Bias, you know how that's a hell of a stamp to put on anybody.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let it rock. I ain't going to contest it. I don't care what we've seen the previous episodes. I'm just gonna leave it alone. But in case y'all don't know,
I saw Zeke shoot a jump shot. He was not.
I'm just gonna leave it alone, bro.
We're gonna go with it. We're gonna ride with Zeke being Len Bias.
And anybody that doesn't know, that's equating to saying, like, like Lucas said, he's a top 3 pick. And he was going to be generational talent. He was going to be in the likes of LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. Len Bias died from a drug overdose the night before, the night of his draft. Yes. At University of Maryland, which is obviously right up the street from us and whatnot. So, and it was always that big what if case, you know, sad story. Look it up too, by the way. And also Snowfall also had a nod towards him as well, too, for everybody that
first episode of season 4, they give you the play-by-play of what happened to Len Bias.
Absolutely. And that got people talking.
Season 4, season 5. It may be season 5.
We just started season 5. They definitely was season 4.
No, this season 6.
It was season 5. Yeah, you're right.
It was the beginning of season 5. Yeah, beginning of season 5. They do the Len Bias episode.
But Tate texts Jenny to let him know the information. So we got information traveling fast. You know, Tate does what he does when you donate to his campaign. We have Lucas and Kiki initially with an RSJ meeting with Brayden there. Because I was definitely like, is Brayden even part of this firm? Like, what the hell is happening? And then Brayden gets established why he's there. We know why Kiki's there. And then we pan over and Tariq is there. And RSJ comes in, which is starting to be one of my favorite characters this season, just because he's empowering that young black fella there. We love that. We love that. It's crazy how we turned around. I know Courtney Kent would be very proud of the fans as we see Tariq becoming a favorite. Because, man, did y'all hate Tariq for all 6 seasons of Power and one season of Ghost.
Y'all was wishing his death over Raina. I don't think Raina could have carried this series. I don't know how this would went with Raina. I mean, Baby Yaz could have carried this clearly.
Absolutely.
And still should get her own book.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if Raina could have carried this season, this series at all. And y'all absolutely wanted Tariq dead multiple times.
Side note, while we have 3 seasons of Ghost, 2 seasons of Kanan, the 2nd season of Power, of course, should be loading up. Is it time for them to make an announcement for more shows?
I mean, what's left?
they need to, if they're not going to do influence, they need to rebrand it to something and still push down that path of the genre that they want to push down. But I think they can definitely do
I
something
think
else.
you're going to possibly try to get another spinoff, but it's going to be of a character you wouldn't expect to get a spinoff.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Um, I don't know who it could be, but
Maybe
we'll see.
Yaz again. We're going to
Yeah,
stick with
absolutely.
Baby Yaz and
Absolutely.
witness protection and how she lives her life then and how she becomes the new Tasha. Like
Yeah,
it writes itself, people. It ain't even hard to write here.
this is true. This is true.
And she takes the Queen Shouts project from a man. I don't know how
yeah,
she gets it from Lucas, but
yeah,
she gets it back.
right. Also, while we need to explain that to you all, just in case, because everybody was commenting on the idea that the fact that you said that, oh, Tariq sold it to the white man. He did not sell it to RSJ. He moved it into Weston's Holdings in order
Which is why I say he sold it to the white man. He moved it
no, I know
to
what you're saying.
Weston's
They just
Holdings
didn't.
for GJ. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was the key point. Matter of fact, he didn't just move the Queen's Child. He moved his entire trust into them because it's part of his trust. So he had to move it to the white man in turn, sell it to the white man for him to sell it to a black man.
Yeah.
For him to keep an internship.
Yeah, because if he
$1 million building, multi-million-dollar building for an internship.
Yeah, because if you sold it to RSJ, what the hell is Lucas doing there? That shit to do with you.
Yeah, because if he sold it to RSJ, I mean, he should be walking away with a minimum of $20 million.
Yeah, or
easily.
stake inside the
or stake in the company. Yes, yeah. So more than he got out of the internship is what we're saying.
Yeah. I'm tired of them calling my man an intern. But anywho, RSJ out here empowering this young black fella because we learned a fact about Tariq that I don't know if we knew at all. This sort of makes sense, maybe, because Ghost was bilingual.
He was.
So could he have? Yeah, but could he have? I mean, we know he learned from Angie. He made that very clear. He did not learn that in school. Angela taught him, and by way of horniness, he knew he had to do for the cause. But could and don't get it wrong, he put Tariq in all of the best schools, from Choke to Stansfield. So it could have been somewhere down in his curriculum, but it is an interesting fact that he learned Italian, which means if Tariq knows Italian, he absolutely knows other languages. He has to know Spanish and whatnot. So what is wrong with it?
Hold on. We're not gonna say that. I
There's
failed.
no
Spanish,
way he learned Italian as his primary language.
I failed Spanish, French, Latin, and another language in high school, but passed Italian. I don't know why that was easier. It's a much easier second language to learn for me personally. So I never know.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the one he caught on to and he could speak it fluently. Granted, it's a lot of similarities between Italian and other languages.
Right.
So you should be able to piece them together.
Yeah. But, and RSJ invested that much into Tariq is also telling that he comes in and says, well, he has to come. He's the only person that speaks Italian, but he also makes it very clear about Lucas and how he pawns his interns, You're a black man for a black meeting. So what? You saying that this black man can't come to an Italian meeting? Okay, cool. But anyway, he says, I will take the junior team. No need for you to come, Lucas. Love that. He sunned my man at his own thing. But Tariq also bringing up Effie and saying like, hey, I had plans with my girl, but how he worded it, but he put his girl over, and
he said that she was a robotics major, and Lucas and RGJ said there's no need to sell that.
Yeah.
We have more than enough room for your +1.
Love it.
Here's what it is.
Love it.
Don't even sell it. And my girl was blocking when she already had her +1 on the trip because Brayden was coming.
I love it though, because I think that while Tariq, and I think honestly, this is going to sound like a little tangent too, but I think this is how we grow stronger as a community, where Tariq gets an opportunity, and yes, it's his girl, but he puts his girl over in a way of like, yeah, he said don't sell her, but like he's going to note that like, oh, okay, I will keep that in mind. And we know how resourceful RSJ is. We know how intuitive he is, like as he prepped for this meeting, knowing that Tariq is Italian, knowing that at some point he's going to resource Effie for something. And I think that as Effie starts to, I wouldn't be surprised if RJ gives Effie some type of like recommendation or something in the future, you know, or a substantial amount of money for some point. I just think that like that character, who I don't think he was introduced as a season regular. I know he was casted because they, you know, when he casted him,
they did cast him as one. I don't know if they cast him as a season regular though.
I don't, but he's felt like it. His presence is more felt than Noma in these seasons. I think again, influence. This would be crazy to kind of see the
this show should exist. Yeah, this is why that show should exist. This is why Courtney thought about that show, because it makes perfectly good sense for this universe to have a show that strictly deals with people's influence over things.
Yeah.
It would be where you would really get to know more of Lucas and more of his firm and things of this nature, and separate what we know of the Westerns being Brayden and get to the actual influence portions of their company. But again, maybe they'll rehash it. You never know with Stars.
Yeah, because as we're seeing good deals with Western Holdings, let's see the bad ones. Let's see the corruption. Let's see what's really happening behind the scenes. You know,
the good old fashioned racism that exists in this company, because we clearly know it's there.
But I did appreciate, you know, Tariq putting Effie over, and you know, RJ is going to take note to that at some point. That's just my prediction. But anyway, he said, I got the junior team covered. No need for you to come, Lucas. And he also said, like, yeah, you know, I know how to do these things. You know, I'm just going to disrupt their expectations to make them sell me. Dude is a genius. I've never thought of that, but it works.
It's part of it, because he felt that possibly Lucas made a deal with them, telling them everything was secured. So when they get there and they found out more information, which the information that they used against them was information from Effie.
Yep.
So it's very important that we realize that it's a chance that Lucas told Italians, like, hey, we got a deal. Don't worry about it. Because Lucas didn't look that deep into them as a company.
Yeah.
So when he gets there and brings that up, he completely leverages them for a much better deal than Lucas would have ever gotten from them.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk when we get there. I got a little comment to make about that scene. But the last thing happening here is Tate texts Tariq and says, "Line motherfucker." Now, what's funny about this is that I was like, "What is he talking about?" But then I also think about like how sometimes how people text, and while it's in context, but also seems sort of out of context. because what?
It put the audience in the place of people who just read random text messages and be like, wait a minute. You bitch ass nigga, why did he send this to you? It's like, oh no. Let me explain why. And that was the context here, because other than that, you would look at me like, you lying motherfucker. Like, you're not saying anything.
Yeah.
Tariq fully understood what he was saying.
Though. Yeah. What a genius move by everybody involved here, by Tariq saying that, Tate going to report it. Obviously, Jenny coming back saying that's not true. Tate's like, okay, well, that's not true. And then Tariq getting the information he needed, and there's no suspicion about it at all. But you know, maybe not. We'll see. But anywho, Monet and Tariq, they meet, and Monet, for whatever reason, says it's been a while since I've seen you. Well, also that can't be true, because once y'all all inside of Davis's office together, where Saxe got the phone. Okay, no problem, cool. But anyway, she says, "What you got for me?" And he reports that, like, obviously they didn't show this, but you can connect the dots here. That obviously by Tate saying he was lying by saying that he also was able to get the full information and details that IG was in DR, IG being International Guap, not Instagram. Unless y'all want to be on Instagram, hit us up on Instagram at Big O Belt. Y'all also can look at Lucas's food reaction videos, which is viral everywhere.
That is not me. And if another nice, kind white woman comes up to me and think that's me, we're gonna have a problem. I do not need to be approached about those videos anymore.
People are tagging in the comments like, yo, Big O Belt, what y'all doing? I'm like, listen, Luke is going off, man. Listen, like and subscribe to my brother. He out here, whatever food you want him to Glock, he got you. A 10-foot glizzy, a 20-foot glizzy, a football field glizzy.
My man does way too many glizzy reviews. I am sorry. That is not me. I only eat swine. I don't know what you're talking about.
And also, I forget his name, but dude is a fantastic content creator.
Stefan Johnson.
Yeah.
I will remember his name because I correct people when they think it's me. Like, no. This. Not all thick black men look alike. I'm letting y'all know now. Granted, we similarities a little bit, but we don't all look alike.
Yeah, fantastic content creator. Check them out, man. Like to see black creators doing whatever they is doing uniquely and passionate about it. Even though we joke that he looks like Lucas. Now y'all gonna look him up. I'm gonna be like, yo, he looks like it. Hey, get in the comments right now if you've never seen him and realize that him and Lucas look exactly alike. It is alarming here. I was like, dang, my Uncle Lou. But then when I see him eat the glizzy, I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of like my Uncle Lou. Like just
wow,
the way
that's some bullshit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, it ain't, nigga. No, it ain't. You will not put that on me when that is you and Big Gold Belt other member Terrell, who are the glizzy gods of San Diego. You won't put that on me.
Lucas' nickname around DC is Shy Glizzy. That's why he be beefing with that rapper, you know.
That is so disrespectful.
Let me get back on this, baby. Like, yeah, talk about all that stuff. Anyway, Monet says, like, you know, what you got for me? And then Tariq lets her know that, you know, he was in DR the day Zeke was killed. It's international guap. Where else would he be at? International.
Yeah, he not local guap.
Yeah,
and he in Miami and South Beach with the rest of y'all. Like, nah, he go to the DR with all the rest of y'all.
But Tariq says, like, you know, my source doesn't get more reliable than this, and that's what it is. So Monet then goes to go see Kane, and Kane doing Kane things, you know, gambling and whatnot, and what. But you know, Kane plays it really cool, by the way. But she wants to know, he does kind of play it cool because Kane.
You could say he plays it cool, but he clearly gives up that he's lying, and that's why Monet's looking at him like, "Whoa, no, nigga, you clearly know more."
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, okay. Let me explain the event so I can kind of recalculate my thoughts, because I do at the end. I definitely be like, yeah, Monet definitely looks like she's not buying this, but she says, who told you IG killed Zeke? And he says, well, Pops did. Which, by the way, he's calling him Pops against Lorenzo. Maybe he's just showing face, whatever. But she says, as Zeke, God, I'm getting everybody's name wrong. As Kane clearly said to him before, was like, you know, what type of proof is this? And he said, what type of proof did you have? And then he did say what I think was the only thing he could say, that it just made sense. Like, listen, we killed a bunch of them. It only made sense that they would want to put a hit out on Zeke. Which, if y'all think he's just talking, well, Monet just used the same logic to get Lorenzo killed.
Yeah.
It's the same as that thing. They're going to be like, who killed Lorenzo? Kane is literally going to, for the first time ever, it's going to be Diana, I know, but it should be Kane, because the first time ever, Kane should be the smartest person in the room to connect this easily. The same as that. If you think about how hot this scene is, this is Monet coming in, and Kane could assume. I mean, now that I think about this is so spot on. Kane knows Monet's on to something. That's why he goes back and tells Lorenzo. So for them, like, does Kane asks Lorenzo, well, you know, tells him, he says, but does she know? He says, I don't think so, because I didn't tell her. So if he's aware that Monet knows and then Lorenzo dies, he's clearly going to say, one, he knows she did it, for the same logic of if somebody came after. Anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. But then it should just make perfect sense that Kane should understand exactly who did this.
That Monet didn't kill him physically, she put the hit out.
Got it done. Exactly.
Yeah, it should be obvious to him who did it.
Yes, exactly. Monet has everything to do with what this happening, is my whole high point. But anywho,
because Monet figured out that he killed Zeke, which also is something that Kane is holding a secret, so he would understand why she killed. But then would he tell his siblings?
Yeah,
you know, she killed Lorenzo because Lorenzo killed Zeke.
Yeah. And honestly, I know I'm jumping ahead, but even while Lorenzo confessing, he did save his sons. And that's the one declaration he gave last week by saying that I would do anything to protect my family. And he did protect Kane here, because Kane catches a bullet too. If either one of them had told her and she found out.
That Kane knew? Yeah. But no, I think in the car she knew Kane knew. That's when she figured out that Kane knew that Lorenzo killed Zeke.
Okay.
But Kane is still her son. She's not going to kill Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Kane may know who did it, but Kane is still, he's not responsible for Zeke's death.
Let's do a game with the fans real quick. Monet has four kids. Mm-hmm. Rank from favorite to least.
Kane, Drew, Diana.
Well, with Zeke included.
Oh, Zeke, Kane, Drew, Tariq, Diana.
It's definitely Zeke. I think it's Zeke, Drew, Kane, Diana, Tariq, Diana.
Number 2.
The way how she's just been kind of like, but the way how she's just been so energetic towards Drew, like this episode when they're playing cards and he was like, "Oh, me and my partner never lose." She was like, "I know that's right, baby." Like she just lights up to Drew.
But that's like, I think that's because that's her youngest male child. I think the love for Kane is obviously there.
Okay.
She absolutely loves. Here's the thing: she loves all her children besides Diana. So we understand that portion. Yeah, even her stepson Tariq.
Yeah.
Hell, she probably loved Brayden more if she got to know him a little better.
Y'all listen in the comments. Y'all think Monet's ranking is for her kids. Just for a little fun little break there. But as he said, like, you know, did you get proof? What proof does he have? And then he obviously said, like, it makes sense that they will kill Zeke after, you know, we have a target on our back for what we did and whatnot. And Monet was like, of course, which is completely sarcastic, which, as you said, the suspicion that like something's not right here. RJ and Tariq and you know, this is them bonding about the past and whatnot. And you know, Tariq talks about how, you know, everyone's still evaluating him on his past, and you know, he talks about it later about him dealing the same thing with his father and what his father's done, how that affected him and whatnot. But anywho, Effie shows up looking bomb, ready to go. Brayden and Kiki ready to go. Brayden is thinking about parties and whatnot. He drops his phone and just completely ignores it. Like, I thought that was
we're in 2023. He put AirPods in his ear. What the fuck is his AirPods connected to? Was this a secondary phone that he had and he dropped it?
Well, and then like there should have been this automatic mental trigger of seeing Effie and Tariq doing it for the ground, and Mr. Party Boy Tariq ain't gonna stunt that they're going on the G5. I'm just
Brayden been on G5s. Brayden got money. Brayden like, this is another day, another day in the Western neighborhood.
That's fast. But Kiki got his phone, even though she yelled out to him multiple times to get his phone, and he just ignored, because what else would he be paying attention to right now? As you mentioned, the person who's always on the phone, always on the plane, seemed to be really happy to get to that bitch first.
Yeah, makes no sense, right? Well, no, he wasn't ready to get to the plane. He was ready to get to the parties. He even said it. Like, hey, when we get over here, we're going partying. Spoken like a person with no responsibilities. He's like, oh man, I'm going to hit a party. I ain't going here to do nothing else.
Right. I mean, this is odd that, like, even with that knowledge, like, that plane's not taking off to everybody kiss on the plane, dog. Like,
what you rushing for?
This ain't Southwest, bro. You got an assigned seat here. You're okay.
This ain't Spirit, bro. You're fine. You're fine. They will hold the plane for you here in this situation here. They will hold the plane for you.
Yep. Shit, Spirit will open up the door for you and let you run to it if need be. They ain't following no FDA regulations.
Hey, look, sometimes I wish I was on Spirit. Shout out to American Airlines who fucked me over on the flight recently. But Spirit would have let me on that motherfucking and let me fly the plane for at least 30 minutes.
But Kiki's looking at his phone and sees all these Bitcoins.
You didn't say that right. You didn't say that right. Go back. Kiki, just like the typical black woman, couldn't wait for his phone to go off to look at it to see what was going on.
I ain't catching the trade there.
She could just pick up the phone and be like, hey, you dropped your phone. Here it is. Nope. Hold that motherfucker up, goes off. Like,
Now she's gonna be suspicious about all of the, the activities and what these transactions are. She's a financial person, so this definitely piques her interest. Lucas in his comment is going to start a war in spiritual world comments or the shade room.
Hey,
nice
can't
and
nobody tell
comfy.
me that black. Can't nobody don't tell me if you drop your phone around a black woman, she ain't gonna go through it before she tell you she got it. It's obvious that's what she gonna do. If the motherfucker go, if that shit's unlocked, oh my god, she'd have just swiped and opened that motherfucker up and went through the phone.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what black women do. We love our black queens here. We just know they nosy.
Yeah,
they can't even help it.
So we got the Rico team, and it's party time with JMO, which, by the way, I do not drink Jameson, but they're having a good old time.
How poor do you have to be to share a bottle of Jameson?
Stop it, dog.
Stop it.
People like Jameson. I just don't. It's trash to me.
They are in the DEA task force.
Shouldn't be drinking at all.
Hey, no, you can drink. I'm gonna need you to drink a much better version of Jameson. Has levels to it. This is like drinking Hennessy, VS or VSOP or whichever one you broke people drink. Like, that shit is disgusting. Who drinks like Jameson as a chair? Nah, listen, man. Look,
I want Lucas to speak for himself. Where we are completely poor here at Big Old Belt Media. So by all means, if you want us to drink anything better than Jameson, yeah, I know what it is.
Only way I'm drinking Jameson if we get a Jameson sponsorship. That's it. But in that, there's no reason to drink Jameson for me.
Man, what's good? Bronson Cognac. Get us out the way. We will.
In this setting, it didn't. I would suspect, like, when we normally get these shows, when you pull the bottle out, it's a little bit more of a high class type of alcohol that you're drinking.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because of Kevin, and that's why they were drinking Jameson.
I mean, it could be. I didn't care about the bottle. I just think Jameson's gross. I didn't look at it from a financial standpoint.
That's why I'm asking, because like,
I mean, it could be. At the end of the day, I mean, they were all pouring it out for their home. I mean, listen, people pour out
Jameson goes like $10 a bottle. It's like
no,
$10 a bottle for Jameson, right?
You're not talking about Paul Masson. Jameson is a chill $40 fifth. I mean,
it does not a $40 fifth, because Hennessy is a $27 fifth. Jameson got to be like $18.
And guess which one I'd rather drink, even though I don't like either of them.
Yeah, I would prefer to drink Jameson over Hennessy any day. No grade of Hennessy, yes.
Jameson's about $40 of a fifth, because Jack Daniels is $25, or less.
You get makers for like $35.
But they have so many different tiers. That's a whole different conversation there. Different conversation.
Every tier is better than Jameson.
If you like Irish whiskey, you get Jameson.
12,
if you like Kentucky bourbon, you'll go to Makers. As a whiskey bourbon fan here.
We're gonna get off of this conversation, because I just thought that was really.
You were so
to be drinking Jameson.
No. So let me
oh.
clear that up then. Yeah, listen, they're not drinking. This is not a statement of like financially how they're doing, but I think they're pouring it out for their homie, whether that was his drink of choice or not. But what's happening here is that the Rico team is all sitting together. Saxe being there, by the way. So I guess they're playing nice. But Jenny's very frustrated because she's like, I can't believe Monet
got away with this.
And Blanca's saying, listen, this is on us. Accountability here. We should have listened to him. And with that, she shows the picture.
Go to your favorite character, because he was making the most sense here.
Oh, I'm gonna get him all the way at the end. But at the end, Blanca, she shows the picture, because now they're fishing. We gotta get something there. So they show the Russian guy who Tariq killed, and they're just like, trying to connect the dots about the Castillos and showing them around the Tejadas, and their whole thing is like, who is supplying the drugs? Davis must know. Give us something we can use on Davis, and as they cheers to Whitman. But Saxe is just here deflecting all of this, and this has nothing to do with bias or anything. Saxe just knows none of this sticks. You know why Saxe knows this? Because Saxe did this for 6 seasons on Power of knowing. Mm-hmm. Don't you? And Blanca did it for about 3. So at this point now,
so it makes no sense for the conclusions that they jump to here.
Yeah,
and that's why Saxe was clear. Like, maybe this is just a guy maybe this is a guy searching for his white whale, and he couldn't see anything else in front of him.
Yeah,
which he's right. That's all this was. So I love Saxe's perspective on this scene and how maybe Kevin was just blinded to everything else around him. Because here's the weird part here. It's a DA agent, right? It's the DA's office. And you wonder how the Tejadas and the Castillions, am I saying it right?
Castillios, yeah.
Castillios have a connection. Wouldn't you know that their fathers were together? That's their connection. Like it has nothing to do with what Kevin was trying to put together here.
Yeah, and like their family, and so like you making it seem like why they can't show up at one. I get the whole like, oh, this comes as a result and talking about who's now the distro and whatnot. But like this is speculation. There's nothing.
That's what Saxe was
yeah
repeating over and over again. It's like y'all are fishing for something here.
What's true. What's happening here is Saxe is not emotionally connected to this case. He's emotionally connected to Jenny, but he's not emotionally connected to them, and they're obsessed with the St. Patrick's. Saxe already been off of that, and longer than Blanca, and Blanca at some point is just going to have to get tired of it as well too. But anyway, let's get through because we got a lot more of the show to go. We got Kane and Lorenzo. And this is, as I mentioned, Kane coming to Lorenzo saying, I think mom may be up to something. And then, you know, Lorenzo says, listen, you know, moms know IG didn't do it, but, you know, mom never showed her hand. And he said, I would never tell her. And Lorenzo says, like, you know, she'll never forgive me, even though it's an accident. And Kane says, I think it would be best if it came from you. Lorenzo says, I don't. And they cheers and take a shot. And honestly, there's nothing really to talk about here to not spend so much time on it, but it is interesting that like this moment definitely turned some gears in Lorenzo's head because he actually
made him think about maybe it would be better if he actually did. Plus, they wasn't drinking Jameson. That's what I took away from this scene.
Tequila there for sure.
There you go, of course.
Imagine that he listened to Kane for the first time.
Drink of the gods. Exactly, the very first time. Matter of fact, no, the first time Kane made sense.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I should have said. He's listening to Kane as the flunky. But anyway, Drew and Gordo, because Drew now has the most sex scenes. He may be catching up to Ghost at this point now.
Hey, he's getting up to Ghost.
Yeah, he definitely getting there. But this the conversation between here is that like Gordo finding out that the CI, that the guy that they met for the guns was the CI, and Drew now becomes suspicious of him. Is like, wait, you were locked up with him? You didn't know he was a CI? But as Gordo very smartly says, like, if I was a snitch, I wouldn't be telling you this. And so together he says, like, we got to handle this together. We're both in it. What's the plan? One thing I will also say really quickly here, it is very uncustomarily, if I said that right, to see Drew ask somebody for a plan. Drew's technically the one that said, this is what we're going to do. While we know that Drew likes Gordo, there's a strong level of respect here that I know is going to play dividends down the line.
It feels like Gordo is the leader of his family.
1,000%.
I think that's why Drew really asks, like, what's the plan here? Like, what are we going to do? I love this scene between them two. It's, again, not much to talk about here. I was just more shocked that Drew was the top. But we go to the next scene.
No, Drew was on the bottom.
No. That's not what that means, sir.
Oh, yeah. I don't actually don't know. Sorry.
Oh man.
Sorry, I guess.
Oh, that was hilarious too. He said, no. He was on the bottom. You can be on the bottom and be the top.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So Monet goes to see Evelyn. And you know, Evelyn thinks this is about the cop. Whitman, it's not. And Monet starts to establish this connection about, you know, her and how she felt with losing Frank and now with her losing Zeke. While everything in this episode Monet is doing, it seems to be trying to figure out who killed Zeke. This entire episode is her establishing how to deal with grief. Every single scene is about dealing with grief, which is really good in a sense to be able to write that about a character, not let it just be revenge. That's so one-dimensional here. And she's the boss, so like revenge should not just be enough. And sometimes, you know, anyway, not only is she a boss, but she's a mother. And I think that it would just be one-dimensional if she was just this stone cold killer or as they say, kingpin, and just saying like, I need to know who killed my son, kill them, cool, hands washed. And even though she made it seem like in killing IG it was all done, here we are her again, still her dealing with the grieving, dealt with it numerous times throughout the season, and here she goes again trying to consult people to kind of figure out how to deal with these feelings, but
and to deal with another mother in this situation. She lost her Detective Nina Moreno, because that's what I'm going to always call her, Detective Nina Moreno, as she grieves because she lost her husband. I love when she said, when after Monet told her that Lorenzo was responsible, the next words out of her mouth is, I can't put my sons in danger. Because it reverts right back to the pain that Monet feels by technically her putting Zeke in danger, as Lorenzo points out later on in the episode. I think it's a great correlation between, I love this scene between two great actresses as they're just bouncing this off of each other.
Indeed. So anyway, Monet says, I know what happened. I'm here to tell you the truth because you deserve the truth. Lorenzo put out a hit when he found out he was a snitch. And Evelyn pretty much says, like, listen, I know you wouldn't give this information up if it wasn't for something. She says, I know the consequences. She says, I love Frank, but I love my boys more. And then Monet is trying to establish, like, listen, what's more important to you, revenge or forgiveness, essentially. And he says, I don't want anyone to, also say I didn't want anybody else to know that, we had this conversation. Anyway, going to Italy here, we have the meetings with the tech company. They're in CGI Italy, by the way.
Hey, that Italian backdrop was horrible. hey, we it's part of America. It's parts in America that you can play off as Italy if you chose to, stars.
Yeah,
but the little CGI
little
background
Italy,
in the
New York.
room.
I think that's where Effie and Tariq was outside at, honestly, but I don't know. But anywho, Tariq, because he knows Italian, he's there as he translates for them.
3 words. 3 words of Italian. Whole scene of him speaking Italian. He spoke 3 words.
Absolutely, no comment. But the Italian tech company has a patent issue, and they leverage the deal to become 20% owners. And I was literally, the only thing I wanted to say was when they were showing the scene, I said, the goddamn Effie's at this meeting, I'm going to rip this scene apart. I said, she better not be at this table, because that just would not make no sense. I don't care.
Bring your +1 to the meeting.
Yeah. I was just waiting. I was like, if Effie's in this scene, but anyway, there you go. Drew and Gordo go to
we brought Tariq to Italy to speak Italian, and they spoke English the entire meeting.
Yeah, there's another funny situation of that in this episode. Drew and Gordo, they go to the hospital, and it's filled with cops, and now they're looking like, oh shit, what do we do? Yeah, what did they expect? It was a CI there, and also a cop was killed at the same time. Shit's pretty hot, and they're gonna flock to the cops, especially when they need that testimony. Effie and Tariq, and this is where they talk about a couple of things. One, Effie being a part of helping Tariq in the information he has, and as you said, being a part of this the assist. And Effie just say, just make sure you look out for me when you break me off a little something. They start talking about their first date because they never had their first date. And between school and business is the reason this has been a thing. I thought this was important. Like, oh shoot, I know they didn't have their date, but whatever. So they established that. And then they established what does dating look like for them. They've never dated, so they want to establish what does dating mean for them. And Tariq made this thing like, we could go home and cook or whatnot. I think that's cool, but I think they're talking about
Tariq did the perfect date.
He did. I definitely think he did, and I think that it was cool to kind of for them to establish like what's their taste in terms of like what's considered a nice date. So we know a lot
dating
about this
versus
couple.
Intimacy. That's what it was here.
Absolutely.
Because Tariq took dating as being very intimate, a situation where I could be at home, I cook for you, we watch television. That's an intimate gathering. Effie, like, you want to do something basic, but then her coming along with the idea, understanding like you only do that with somebody you love.
Yeah.
Like, I could take any girl to an opera.
Yeah.
I have. Like, it is what it is. After that's over, you still got to go home.
Yeah.
But for me to say I want to cook for you, I want to do that, that's a very intimate setting to do that in. I thought it's always a good thing to see them two away from the business at times.
Yeah.
And see just how much Tariq cares for Effie.
Yeah. So, because I didn't see this coming, welcome back to the show, Noma. It's been a couple episodes here, and Obi. But what the hell are y'all doing in Italy here? And I was like, that's strange. But they show up and they do establish why they were there. But they say, hey, I got a mission for you. I need you to retrieve this listening device from. Yeah. Because
it must have been a rabbit's foot for Mission
Listen.
Let
me tell you what my next note says. So after they said, listen, I need you to retrieve this listening device that was planted by Mecca, she explained why they can't get close to it and why they got to leverage RSJ to do so and whatnot. Effie makes the statement of why can't we just get by and intercept the signal and retrieve the data
information
from it.
on it. Mm-hmm.
I said, now this has just turned into Fast and the Furious because Effie has just established that she's Ramsey and she's just got to be the most hacking person out here to just make a statement like that. And you got these two kids out here getting ready to do some recon and retrieval mission. I mean,
place they've never been in. They would have the slightest idea where it should be at. But I'm just going to send you in here and I'm going to need you to figure it out.
For family.
I was just waiting for Tom Cruise to show up.
For sure.
To help lead Tariq where to get the device from.
Yeah, or I wanted Tariq to either, become Ludacris or Tyrese fully. I mean, like,
not Tyrese. Tyrese.
Why not? Why not? Everybody likes Tyrese.
They went back to save family. So
what's some of Tyrese's favorite most wonkiest lines he's made in Fast and Furious? I can't even think.
When does he do a line that makes any sense in Fast and Furious?
What's the joint he said in like the first one and Too Fast
and Furious?
Ejecto pronto or something he said.
Yeah. Who would have thought Tyrese would be comic relief in the Fast and Furious movies? It's a hell of, you got to shout out Tyrese there, boy, because that is, I know people hate, but that's a hell of a range to go from baby boy, waist deep, which is still a great movie to me.
That is one of my favorite movies. I didn't even remember
pick up and be the comedic relief in this and also be in Transformers at the same time.
That's right. As a villain, slightly.
Hey, got to give it up. Tyrese is a living legend that we don't talk about enough.
No doubt. But yeah, so there's that. So Gordo and Drew now at the hospital still. And because they found out that the CI has died and his phone and what is in evidence. Well, they go to the teller or the nurse, whatever you want to call her. She's definitely not a teller. She's a nurse. Yeah.
She's a nurse. She's a nurse. And she's responsible for evidence behind a door. I've been in hospitals before, even when you get shot and stuff. I've just never seen this little room that you would go into.
Also, hey,
police took it immediately.
Yeah, hey,
all his belongings in the custody.
Yeah, I need to get that evidence back there. I'm gonna pay you a nice little grip. Wop. Yeah, and yeah. So you mean to tell me that this nurse who has seen nothing but police presence for the last definitely a day now because he was shot at night, so definitely a day by now because it was day. Okay, cool. And you're just going to take this money from two dudes in hoodies and hey, listen. Anywho,
I think she was a CN. That's why she was no RN. No RN ain't gonna do you that shit. But
I don't even know why I'm not. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm even faking here. There's a bunch of people that did this shit. Yeah, especially
I had to took it.
Yeah, right. It was. But Blanca instantly comes in there and says like, "Hey, I need evidence from blah blah blah," and they say, "Nah, family came and got that," and so whatever. And yeah, they get the phone. They take the phone outside, and this probably is going to. I'm probably skipping the scene, but I'll just say it now.
No, you're not, because this is when they take the phone outside to look at the.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is right away. Yeah. So so Drew's like, "Oh my God, if they had this, we would have been done." And you know what they did? They went inside that phone and deleted all three of them pictures that they had on there. All three. all three of those pictures.
Hold up. And stop moving like they was on a corded phone. Stop. Let's look through this phone now. Nigga, we can do this in the car. We don't have to stand still where the police can still come out here and get us to look through it.
The way how they made it seem like they had so much evidence and they had Birdman. They had all three of them.
All three of these pictures on here. All three of them. But here's the weird part. I'm gonna look at the pictures, then I'm gonna delete the pictures, then I'm gonna break the SIM card, and then I'm going to break the phone. Wouldn't I have established the same thing just by breaking the SIM card in the first place?
They listen. So much evidence in that phone. Okay, they had to do what they had to do. Make sure it was totally done. Francisco Lombardi,
Brayden, Lorenzo, and no one else.
Yeah, which honestly could have been very bad for Brayden, but I don't know. Maybe everybody. Who cares? It doesn't matter though. That whole little situation is done. So Francisco Lombardi. Oh yeah, because dude was definitely like, yo, we need to find out who these dudes are, and they didn't have a chance. They wasn't able to obviously send it because Blanca, who DEA, and that was the CI, never knew. That's why she would look for it. So all that went to nothing. Which could have been something, could have been kind of bad for Brayden at some point. A person who had already admitted to doing drugs, and you seen him do a drug deal, could have been really bad for him. Yeah. But anyway, Francisco Lombardi, they're at the party. Ghost, RSJ and Tariq talking about ghosts and whatnot. Brayden and Effie are searching. Brayden clearly is way out of his element here because he's so happy, taking his good old sweet time to find the device. He finds it, gets caught by the guard who doesn't speak English, and gets taken into another room. Effie looking bad, checks the room to see if it can open up. Clearly not. But then she has a moment of like, what do I do? Do I leave or do I go get it? She goes and get the device, and then she ends up running into a guard who speaks English now. So she gets to flirt her way out of it.
She's a woman ways.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Which is kind of odd, because why didn't
Effie just do it in the first place?
Device? Because if both at the end, yes, why didn't Effie do it in the first place? But also, why didn't they go together? Because if they would have got caught with Brayden on the ground, all Effie has to do is kiss him and be like, "Oh, our bad. We just want to sneak off to a private place."
Yeah,
simple.
Yeah. Absolutely. But again, unqualified folks doing a mission impossible. Kids
doing this.
Spy kids. This is why I call it spy kids. This is exactly
this is Red Dawn. This is Red Dawn. you have children trying to save the world. Like, it makes no sense here.
But with that though, she says, "Hey, I want to see the private collection," and the guy's like, "Certainly, I'll take you. Oh, sweet African American lady. I'll take you right to the private collection right now." Anyway, family dinner. Diana's back. Welcome back to the family dinner, Diana. I'm surprised they didn't have her like way in the back of the living room and everybody else at the table or something. But anywho, Monet still looks pissed. Table. Yeah, Monet still looks pissed at her, which is I love. I hope they carry this out the entire season here. But again, she was so happy about Drew, as I mentioned earlier, but we don't have to go over that. But then this was something interesting. They started talking about the nostalgia in the family playing cards and all that. And Diana said she did not know any of that because she was too young, so she had no memory of it. But Lorenzo pulls her aside because I guess he senses that, but he also talks about needing to move the drugs. Diana said she wanted it to stop because it was getting hot, and then he says, "Fine, I'll end it." And so she's happy. She doesn't have to sell drugs no more. Brayden is getting interrogated, and his headlines about him admitting the drugs comes into play, and Francisco wants to know who does he works for. Nothing to make there besides Brayden's taking punches with his shirt off, and that's that. Very light form of
they don't know how to torture people. They clearly don't know how to torture people properly. Not a single waterboarding. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, and they
wouldn't all over your face, pull a guy in the water over there till you feel like you're drowning.
I don't wish nothing bad on Brayden, but I thought they was gonna like lay a beating on him for real. I mean,
James Bond Joe. Remember when James Bond was tied to the chair and dude Joe, he was swinging? Man, like you would tell me everything I needed to know if I did that to you.
So back at the hotel, Kiki looks for Brayden. Effie and Tariq don't know what they're going to do, but then they decide they're going to use the device as leverage to get him back. We got Gordo and Monet because Monet is outside drinking with her wine, which is keeping her warm. This is kind of a dope moment between the two of them. But Gordo says, I'm sorry about missing Zeke's funeral. And, asks us about grief again and how to deal with it, and asking about anger and whatnot. And while it was not said here, it was clearly implied that Monet put thoughts in Gordo's head about things. And this ultimately is what happens later on. But if it had not, this had established a reconnection with the two of them after there seemed to be some animosity because of Gordo not being there and whatnot and so on. Because what Monet tried to do with Evelyn, I think he got to Gordo instead.
Yeah, because it sets up when Lorenzo, what happens to Lorenzo happens, you kind of know it's Gordo. Because Gordo explicitly says, if I found out who did what he did to my dad, I would slit his throat. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. A man of his word.
And Monet wasn't drinking Jameson either.
She's drinking wine.
No, she wasn't drinking wine. That was clearly Brent.
It was red.
Cognac. It was cognac.
And the glass, it was clearly wine.
Yeah, it was a cognac glass. That was that was a cognac glass. Fans up. Because fans, especially fans of this show who understand the difference between a wine glass and a cognac glass.
I thought it had
what Monet was drinking and let us know which one you think it was. To me, it's clearly a cognac glass.
I thought it had a stem.
And wine don't keep you warm outside. Wine does anything but keep you warm.
Any liquor will. No. Wine will keep you warm because it will make your blood rush, which, if you do know, that's how some people have survived hypothermia, because
from actually alcohol, because wine doesn't have the alcohol content strong enough.
Wine penetrates your blood, liquor penetrates your liver. See?
But liquor makes you get the warmer feeling inside your body.
And you still can catch them on you.
Look at the glass, people. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's a wine glass or cognac glass? She knows she's been drinking no she ain't drinking no wine. She ain't got no wine for her to drink.
We're gonna see. David's office though. David's office though, we see him looking at case files that he obviously didn't want Saxe to see. I was like, what case files are these? But anyways, Saxe comes in and pulls out the information about the Theo Rollins case and said there was a constitutional violation, prosecution misstep. We have enough to get him out. So Davis is like, well, shit, let's go tell him right now. And then Saxe is like, nah, I'm thinking I'm gonna hang back. He tells him to get on it. Saxe goes and instantly goes to snoop around because Davis's security is completely trash. He has one of those little keys that every kid had on their little any little toy to play handcuffs and everything.
What's the point of locking a cabinet in your office
to have the key
and
right
leaving
there?
The key
right
to the cabinet in your office? It kind of defeats the purpose of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, but whatever. But anywho, Davis's security is trash. But Saxe then sees the Whitman files, which as he takes a picture of it and sends it to Jenny and says, there's a copy of Whitman's files. I don't know how Davis got this. We need to meet now. Jenny says no. So Saxe is like, that ain't sitting right. Brayden is now with the folks being captured, and now they're having a meeting. Tariq is out here dealing with these dangerous dudes by himself and Effie. I mean, come on now. I don't know why they just didn't kill them and just roll out. There's nothing to negotiate.
All it was missing was the wind in the background as it blows Tariq coat up to the side as he's waiting for them to come to shoot him. That's it. That's all it was missing here.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But interesting enough, the folks said, like, hey, you working for Mecca? Is he still alive? Tariq could have easily said, no, I killed him. Yeah. It just would have made it so much easier, but whatever. But with that, Noma and Obi and the crew kills them all. Obi still with his anti-American jokes. And as he says, thank you for luring Francisco out and eliminate him. Noma gets the device, wipes the blood off of Tariq's face and says, listen, trial period is complete. That means more work for everybody. Saxe is stalking Jenny, but where's Jenny going? We know, but Saxe is looking. Effie and Tariq, as Effie shows Tariq a picture of Noma, Lombardi, and their daughter, and says, first, like, hold on, did she just kill the father of her daughter and just didn't think twice? Like, man, she's savage. But we can use the daughter as she is an Achilles heel, which technically could be used for leverage for them to break from under Noma here. So we'll see what happens there. We get Lorenzo and Monet, and Lorenzo comes clean. That's just what happens there. He lets him know.
Yeah.
I
killed Zeke by mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be. I thought it was Mecca.
Yeah.
And I thought, but Lorenzo says the most beautiful thing in the world here. It's your fault. You left Zeke out here, and you didn't leave a way for him to protect himself.
No, wait. He said yes, but no. He said, like, you introduced them to this life, but did not prepare him. I said, well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't leave a way for him to protect himself because he's in a life that he knows nothing about.
Yeah.
But he's only in his life because of you. Like, it's about accountability here. Like, in the end, yes, unfortunately, he killed Zeke. We know he didn't mean to kill Zeke, though. Even though Monet did point out she was only as mad because he hadn't told her that from the beginning. But we know Monet would have still reacted the same exact way. But it's her fault in the end. You lied to that boy his entire life. You introduced him to a life he knew nothing about. You tried to hide it from him. All you did was put him in danger by trying to hide it from him. As Zeke said as much when he was dealing with Drew and Kane about, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want any parts of this. It's her fault. In the end, it's Monet's fault. We already know
I'm not playing this game with you on this show, but it is definitely equal parts fault on what happened here. Both negligence.
Monet and Diana?
Monet and Lorenzo. Diana does play a slight part too, but I think what's important here, because I don't want to spend too much time riffing on this, is that to understand that Monet fully has been pointing the finger out about everything. And so Lorenzo comes clean that she's mad because it took this long to come out. And at this point, she's mad, but I also don't think she's like the furiousness as she was towards IG. So she's right. Because she should have came clean about it, which makes Kane right, sort of interestingly enough.
But I think she already knew Lorenzo did it. She just needed him to admit it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that, I think to hold Monet accountable here is going to be interesting to where her mental goes beyond this, because while she feels she done cleaned this up, she feels like she done got her piece. We know that's not how grief works. And we also know that's not even how revenge works, if you even want to put it at that. She's still going to have to battle with this. And matter of fact, it also comes right back to what Lorenzo said. Your decisions you made has consequences all the time. You need to be aware of
our kids, Mo. Technically, what you just did was exactly the reason Gordo killed Lorenzo. What makes you think, in the end, Drew wouldn't want you dead? You killed his father.
Oh, and Diana, who has been...
We already know Diana wants her dead. We can see that. We can foreshadow that.
And
I think
the story
that we don't see is Drew.
Yeah,
1,000%. I don't think Kane would. It would be Drew, though.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you this: the story of whoever does it will be the leader of the family, and that's going to be the interesting tale, because it won't be Kane, because we already see Kane.
We know it won't be Kane.
There's nothing.
Kane and Monet is no.
There's nothing dramatic about it being Kane. It will either be Drew or Diana, which we always assume it should be Drew. Kane always felt it should be him, and I've always said it should be Diana. If that's the route they go, I mean, we'll see how it is. We'll see her kind of turn her maturity level up all the way, and she starts calling the shots. That'll be something. But yeah, like I said, this is just a conversation about, how this played out, who did what, who's responsible for what and whatnot. And as you said, I made a terrible mistake, but we both have. And what about what we built? What about our kids? And out of respect for them, she said, "You're not gonna catch a bullet, but I want you out. I'm done." And so there's that. She said, "I'll just tell them." Yeah, I just tell them we're gonna divorce, but whatever. Anyway, Jenny pulls up to her spot. Saxe lurking. Saxe notices the security. He gets out the car. I love this, because at first I said this makes no sense. Why would he do that if he's watching? But Saxe is obsessed. And this is like a mad, I ain't gonna even call him a boyfriend. This is somebody who think they in a position that they really not. And you out here stepping in territory you have no business being on. So of course Saxe, as we know, Saxe to be obsessed with everything he does, but to be in love and obsessed absolutely makes sense that he would make an irrational move like this. He goes up there and he tries to just finagle his way in. Absolutely makes no sense that they, first of all, I'm just going to say the only thing that doesn't make sense here is the security guard even entertaining this conversation.
Not shooting him on the spot.
Makes no sense.
You literally pulled up to a protected witness's location.
Yeah.
You should have been detained at the minimum immediately.
Yeah. 1,000%. And Saxe, maybe it's white privilege. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, definitely white privilege.
But Saxe get out the car, and I was like, why is he so motivated? This is the question to you all: is why is he so motivated? Is he pussy whip, or is this how he is? Is his obsessive personality leads him to get the job done by any means necessary? But anyway, Jenny comes out the door, is like, did you follow me here? He says, what are you hiding? And then she says, are you doing this because you're jealous? Which is goddamn the right thing for her to say here, because makes right on here. But he says, this is insane. Oh, as Lauren comes out here, he said, this is insane even for you, risking my career. Oh no, Lauren didn't come out yet, but he said this is insane even for you, risking my legal career for you to go along with your theory that Tariq plotted to kill Lauren, even though I know he didn't. He says, tell me what's going on, or are we done? So like, wait, did they break up here? Okay, cool. Moving on. It says, listen, did you have a feeling or anything here? Because I did. Like, now this is a dude with his heart broken here. And then, Jenny says, like, I thought our goal was to get the bad guys off the street, essentially. He says, who's in there? And then Lauren comes out and Saxe says, unbelievable. And says, like, listen, you portrayed me. You manipulated me. You manipulated her. I'm done. And then Lauren wants the truth. And then Saxe, before he leaves, says, Tariq loved you. And then says something.
He didn't try to kill you. He said, I know he didn't try to kill you because I saw his reaction to when he found out you were dead.
Yep. And they said, she can't legally keep you here, right? And I just thought that it was kind of interesting.
And Jenny tried to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell her that. Don't tell her I can't have her as my personal hostage.
Yeah, the witness, the protection here is terrible, and just terrible.
It's the same security as Stansfield.
Yeah, clearly.
Those are the ones that's protecting Lauren here. Yeah, you can just walk up to her secluded location without an issue.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
Her questions. Yeah, it's terrible. Back to Tejada's now. They're playing cards, and Lorenzo's late, as Monet says. Why is she late? Why is he late? We'll find out in a second. So Tariq and Effie are in bed, and the phone rings. And I thought it was Effie's phone, and I thought it was going to be Kane, but in fact, it was an unknown number. It wasn't a saved number, shall I say it? And says, "Meet me at the South Campus gate." And Tariq just, why not?
I thought he said Lauren. I thought he said that's Lauren.
No, it was just a number. It was just a number.
Why the hell would he just meet up with a random number?
You want me to tell you why? Because he also took that meeting earlier with those Italians and didn't care. So why wouldn't he just go to his gate at his campus? What's the worst that can happen here? Like, you know what I mean?
Because everybody dies on Sandsfield. That's the worst thing can happen.
Don't matter. Ain't nothing dangerous that he ain't already doing 24 hours. So why not? Even though Effie said like
international guap.
Yeah, I listen. Even though Effie makes it very clear that we're alive and that's a win, and Tariq just is like, all right, well, let me double down on my luck real quick.
A win is a win.
But he gets there, and what do we know? We have Lauren basically coming out looking like one of those people on the purge, just without the glow mask. She's hooded up with a box cutter, and shit's about to go down. But anywho, he's like, Lauren, what the fuck? I thought you were dead. And Lauren's like, why did you want me dead? And obviously, because of that little bit of illegal advice that Saxe gave her, she decided to run far away really quick. But anywho, she's going to go back, folks, because by last episode, she establishes why she doesn't need Brayden and Lauren to know, and Kane, because they'll try to kill her. So this is a risk that she's just out there. So this is a quick little meet with Tariq. Obviously, it makes sense with for her. With a box cutter. And says, lets her know, like, listen, man, I don't know what you know, but like basically your girlfriend and Brayden, Effie and Brayden, they tried to kill me. And Tariq is like, I knew none of this. They lied to me. And he says, they first of all, He says, where you been to? I've been with the feds. And listen, the feds aren't the only ones that's looking into you because they are building the case against you. Because she says she's the witness, and he asked her, "Are you the witness?" He said, "Yeah," but he said, "We're not the only one you need to worry about." And clearly, she is sending a shot towards Effie and Brayden and saying, "You need to look out for them, watch out for them as well too." And there's that. So Lauren basically, because I just kind of summed this all up. Lauren comes out and says, like, "Listen, feds are after you. I'm being held by the feds, but you need to be worrying about Effie and Brayden. They tried to kill me. Let you know that, and he didn't mention Kane, by the way, but listen, letting them know that like they tried to kill me because she didn't know Kane did, but she probably could have put it together by everything that Jenny is saying, but she didn't mention that. And so he goes back and to his room, and it was basically just like, I just need to go for a walk real quick, whatever. And then she says, "Hey, it's something I need to tell you something." And instead of her confessing, unlike Lorenzo, she just says, "Oh, I love you too." So she's been pondering all this time to tell him that she loved him because she has love issues and whatever. But,
and because she ain't finna snitch on herself.
I know.
Come on now.
Anyway, last scene, we got Lorenzo with a nail in his tire. And soon after, he goes to the trunk to change his tire at night because I'm sure he got like 1,000 cars, but whatever. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. He gets his throat slashed, Gordo. And he basically says, that's for my dad. And this happens in front of Zeke's mural. And then he texts Monet and says, "Done. Like thank you." It's anywho, they're playing cards. Monet gets the text and kind of looks like she's happy.
Did she throw her hand down in spades right after beforehand? Because she did the black people joke, like when you win a book.
Yeah.
And then right after that, she gets the hit that Lorenzo did.
And then
she smirks.
And at Diana, she didn't. It's almost as if she says, "One down, one to go."
I'm gonna beat your ass in this spades game, then bitch you dead.
Yep. So yeah, this episode, man, we got a bunch of different things. Drew is exercising his stars contract by getting his sex with Gordo. Monet tells Gordo that Lorenzo killed Frank, Noma, and Effie. Then Noma tells Tariq and Effie about retrieving the bug from Francisco Lombardi.
And now they're deeper into business with her.
Yep. Saxe finds out about Lauren. Noma and the goons get Lombardi killed. Tariq finds out Lauren is alive by Lauren. and Gordo kills Lorenzo, and then Effie with the picture of Noma and her daughter, Norma Lombardi and her daughter, and they're going to use that eventually for leverage. So that's a lot of different things happening in this episode, which means we're done because we got nothing else to talk about here. What about you, sir?
What you expect, people? That's all you got to say. This is the mid-part episode of the season.
Yeah. Anyway, we're back next week for episode 6, The Land of Lies. Let us know in the comments, folks, all your thoughts, comments, reactions to everything in this episode here. And until next week, folks, y'all be safe. Like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. We see you back for more recap and review shows here at Big O Belt Media. Thank you for watching, folks.